When I was in my early 20s, I made a bold choice. The very first foreign language that I learned was not French. That was the second one. Neither was it Spanish. That was the third one. The first foreign language that I learned was Hebrew. This dictionary was my daily companion. You can tell from the state of its pages that I flipped through it thousands of times. Why did I learn Hebrew? Why? I will explain that in this video, and why my recent video on Israel's return to Zambia comes from a place of a deep knowledge of Israel. I noticed in many of the comments to that video that many Christians seem to think that blind loyalty to Israel is a badge of Christian honor, that it's practically the 11th commandment. I will explain to you why that belief is actually not biblical at all, but it's rooted in evangelical Christian teachings that blurred the lines between Israel and Zionism. Ani DJ Bwakali, the Ani Ohev Shalom. My name is DJ Bwakali, and I love peace. Hine matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brothers to dwell together in unity. That verse is drawn from Psalms 133 verse 1. Although I have forgotten most of my spoken Hebrew, I can still write and read Hebrew very well. I share this because I once believed that being a Christian meant embracing everything connected to Israel. But I was wrong. Today, I want to talk to you about why that belief was mistaken and why so many Christians are still trapped in it. Many of the comments on my Israel's Return to Zambia video echoed the same belief that Christians must support Israel unconditionally. That is the idea we need to confront, because blind support of Israel is not faith. It is religious sycophancy. And I want to show you why. For starters, understand these three words: country, state, regime. Country, state, regime. A country refers to the land and the people. A state is the sovereign, political, legal entity. A regime is the particular government and system in power at a given time. That's why criticizing Bola Tinubu's regime doesn't mean that you hate Nigerians or the geographical territory of Nigeria. That's why on Sunday, 17th August, just 3 weeks ago, 500,000 protesters gathered in Tel Aviv, Israel, to demand an end to the war in Gaza. These are Israelis who disagree with the Netanyahu regime. Yet there are people who continue to support the current Netanyahu regime unconditionally. Blind loyalty to any regime, including your own country's, is idolatry. Faith is greater than that. Faith calls us to truth, to compassion, and to justice. Think of the prophets. Nathan stood before King David and told him the hard truth. He told him to his face about his adultery with Bathsheba and the arranged murder of her husband Uriah. Elijah faced King Ahab and told him the hard truth. In 1 Kings 21:19, Elijah asks Ahab, Have you murdered and also taken possession? That's the same question that we are asking Netanyahu. And it's right there in the Bible. Amos declared, "Let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream." Let justice roll down like waters. It doesn't exclude the people of Gaza, the children of Gaza, the women of Gaza. And of course, it doesn't exclude the Israeli civilians who were tragically eliminated on October 7th, 2023. Let justice roll down like waters. Even Israel itself has known leaders who understood that everyone deserves peace and justice. Yitzhak Rabin was an Israeli prime minister, a soldier, and a peacemaker. Rabin believed that Palestinians deserved dignity, peace, and justice. He signed the Oslo Accords. He shook hands with Yasser Arafat. He said, "I consider myself to be a soldier in the army of peace." What about you? Because he dared to believe that peace was possible, he was assassinated by one of his own. If an Israeli leader could risk his life to say that Palestinians deserve justice and peace, Christians who follow the Prince of Peace must not be afraid to say the same. They must never be afraid. My fellow Africans, loyalty to the Netanyahu regime is not the same thing with loyalty to God. Praying for the peace of Israel, as Psalms 122 teaches, does not mean closing your eyes to the suffering of Palestinians. It means praying for peace that includes everyone who lives in that land, Jews, Muslims, Christians, everyone. Peace that ignores one group's pain is not peace, it's injustice. And injustice is never God's will. What is Zambia's position on Gaza? Will Zambia use this revamped diplomatic relations with Israel to pressurize Israel on Gaza? Without clear red lines, Zambia risks walking back into an unequal relationship where its sovereignty is in fact then compromised in exchange for short and medium term promises. I really pray that time proves me wrong. I really do. And I'll be very happy if Zambia ends up using this revamped diplomatic relations to advance the cause of peace and justice. Africa needs moral clarity. The church needs moral clarity. And moral clarity means calling things by their true name, even when it's uncomfortable to do so. If we truly want to honor God, then we must defend the oppressed, the vulnerable. We must speak the truth and pursue peace at all costs. In conclusion, we must also confront the violence and suffering across Africa with the same moral clarity. We as Africans must redouble, triple our efforts to seek peace and justice in Africa. From Congo to Sudan to the Sahel and beyond, we must be at the forefront of exposing these injustices because the world has normalized them and actively ignores them. My name is Bwakali, and Africa is my superpower. Let us keep awakening, uniting, and transforming Africa. And let us keep nurturing a faith that has moral clarity, not blind loyalty.